Okay, we got a lot to talk about with this finale, but first we have to discuss something. The viewing order for these reactions is changing. I've been saying we're going to be going by the exact release order, but if I do that, then there's going to be a big gap where there's going to be like a year between Infinity War and Endgame when I'm watching just a ton of TV shows. And I don't think anybody really wants that. Nobody wants me to take a huge year-long break between Infinity War and Endgame. So, what I'm doing, there's a link in the description to the viewing order that I am going to use. It's like one that I put together. It's kind of half chronological, half release order. I was using a chronological order on the other viewing order thing, if you know what that is. I'm not being spoiled. You know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah. So, this is a sort of mix of sort of watching the TV shows. I'm watching a ton of them right now after season 2 of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we got to watch them because they all chronologically take place before the end of Phase 2. So that's why we're watching them all now. Then we got a whole other chunk of TV shows to get through after a couple movies. But you know what? At the end of the day, everybody's gonna hate this. Everybody's gonna complain. But you're gonna thank me in the end when there's not a huge gap of TV shows in between Infinity War and Endgame. And for the people that don't want me to react to any of the TV shows or want me to react to them on a separate, time slot or whatever on the channel or anything like that, I'm just going to say that if I listened to the consensus, then we wouldn't be reacting to S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. When I first decided to do this whole watching the MCU thing, everybody told me, don't watch the TV shows. None of the TV shows matter. They're bad. Don't give a shit about them. And now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like the best thing on my channel, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So, I'm not going to listen to the consensus. Even if it's, what the people want, I'm not doing it. I'm going to pull in a fury. I'm saying, fuck you, I'm doing this for the greater good. This is what's happening. And this is the way I want to enjoy it. I understand. I'm kind of autistic. No one else likes this. No one else, when I want to get into the comics, right? I've been reading the comics too. In the Golden Age, because I don't really have I don't give a shit about reading the comics if I'm not reading them from the beginning. Not really chronologically, but just, from the beginning, from when they started publishing. And I'm not reading every one of them, but, I'm reading quite a fair bit, just because that's what appeals to me. Nothing appeals to me about the idea of picking up some random line of comics and reading that. Absolutely no. And the same thing with none of these movies have ever appealed to me because it was so much to have to get into. When people were saying they just wanted me to watch the movies, I was just like, I probably won't do this then, because that's why I decided even if it's not what people want, I'm just gonna react to the movies and the TV shows anyway, because alternatively for me the option is not watching any at all. There's nothing that appeals to me about watching the movies. Nothing. And I'm not saying the shows are better. I'm just saying nothing appeals to me about watching the movies by themselves. Nothing would appeal to me about watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by itself. I have said a million times, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be so far lower on my list of favorite TV shows if it wasn't just a part of this universe. Even if it's not being connected to other things, just being a part of this universe. So that is what I enjoy out of the MCU. I know nobody else enjoys that. I know nobody else gets that out of it. They complain about it not being fully plot connected or anything like that. But I don't care. I really couldn't care. So this is how I'm doing it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is how it's happening. It's not changing. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. I think it's apropos we start this whole discussion off, where it belongs, with Coulson. Let's talk about Coulson. Let's talk about it. I sound like I'm angry, but I'm really not. My stance on Coulson has not changed, and it never will. That said, though, also for all of this, please wait until you've read the entire, or seen the entire discussion to comment. And if you are going to comment on something specific, please link me to what you're saying. So many people comment on something that I have no idea what the context of them quoting me is. Like, they'll quote me, but I don't know what the context of me saying that was, so I can't respond to you. Please link the point in the video when I say it. But anyway, yeah, my stance on Coulson has not changed. As long as he has somebody above him, like a council or something like that. Right now it's just Weaver, which is really bad, so we need a new council. But if he has people above him, then okay. You know, I myself would never be a part of the organization. As I've said, I could not be even anywhere. I could not be in the same room as Sky or in the same room as Coulson. I could not do it. It's too terrifying to me. Don't want anything to do with it. But if I'm putting myself in the shoes of the people in the show, which is always what I try and do when I talk about alien blood, you know, I personally find that fucking terrifying. But even when I'm talking about it in the show, I'm usually putting myself in the shoes of Mac or Gonzalez or something like that, or just a normalest person on Earth. But Gonzalez is dead. Mac is accepting it. So I'm going to too, as far as the show is concerned. Again, me personally, my real opinion, absolutely not. But in terms of for the show, sure. So, yeah, as long as he has these people above him that can watch him, because that's been my main thing, you know. The director can't. If Coulson was an alien, or I mean, sorry, if Coulson was an agent, then sure, you know. I've always said that. I've said that so many times. If Coulson is agent, sure, fine. He cannot be director of the alien blood. So, having a council above him, he's still the director, yeah, but my point was, you know, he can't be the person running this organization if he's got alien blood in him, or had alien blood in him. So, that said, in terms of, you know, oh, well, as long as he's not the one running the organization and stuff, at the same time, where is Fury? Like, nobody's really talking about that. I get it, because, you know, a lot's been going on right now, but not even in this little epilogue sort of thing after the whole action. You know? Nobody really said anything about Fury. What's going on here? Like, are we all just still gonna pretend that Coulson is the real director here? Like, sure, Coulson is the director, but, like, Fury is clearly doing, you know, I assume it's like Coulson goes and has talks with Fury and stuff, and they discuss what they want to do and everything like that. But I would call that Fury being in charge, because there's no way in hell Coulson would have a talk with Fury and not just do whatever Fury would want. Coulson's like a fanboy for Fury. Of course he would. So, you know, we can say Coulson is the director all we want, but, like, really, Fury's the one, you know, pulling the strings behind it all. But yeah, I don't know why nobody's really talking about him or saying anything. And God help us if they're gonna put him on the fucking council. Like, no. Do not put Fury on the council. No way. Honestly, get him out of here. He should be in jail. Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D's new direction. We talked about this in episode 10 of season 2, and Coulson sort of betrayed me with what he was saying, but now it seems like he's finally come back to it, or at least realized that he himself is, you know, he himself cannot be trusted with it. He's gonna say one thing and do another thing, and he understands that. He understands that's his weakness. His weakness is sticking to what he fucking says. So he puts Mac in charge of the alien shit, as we call it. And just because I like Mac does not mean that I like this decision. Having someone who is very emotionally invested in something be in charge of it is not a smart decision. You know, you always kind of want to have the most impartial person doing that, but at the same time, if Mac is just in charge of alien physical stuff, then that's one thing. I'm thinking that he would also be in charge of if aliens came to Earth, which is where I'm saying that's probably a bad thing. I mean, honestly, no. even if Mac was in charge of physical alien stuff, that's still gonna go bad. What if, oh, we found this weird alien ball thing, it's weird and it's squishy, and then it's like, oh, that actually has intelligent life. And then, Mac's gonna be like, I don't care, destroy it! And it's like using the meta knowledge of, like, in the comics, the Earth is the center of the universe and humans are the center of creation and all that shit. So, like, it makes sense, you would be able to judge an alien based off of human morality and all that because they're all based off of humans. So that makes sense, but that's also using meta knowledge, right? So in universe, how would they judge the morality of an alien? How would they know if it is dangerous or not? It's a lot easier for a powered individual. You can tell if they're dangerous or not based off of how dangerous their power is, but based off of how dangerous they as a person are. And with an alien, how do you do that? Because how do you know, oh no, is it aggressive right now? Is it trying to be nice? What is it doing? What is its intentions? I have no idea, and I probably don't speak its language, so how the hell do we, know that? It's not like they have some sort of like common tongue or anything like where all the aliens just speak one language. In Guardians of the Galaxy, they specifically showed that they had translators and everything, and most of them were just built into them, like they had a, organic, I guess it's not organic, but they had a translator as a part of their person. Or like Peter, who I assume just knows a lot of languages, or like the Asgardians who, like, know Kree from like birth, it seems like they're just like 1 year old, they have it drilled into them. So I assume the Asgardians know most languages just because that's what they are. They're like the protectors, sort of. And yeah, I assume that's what the case is there. But yeah, so they don't even share your same language. Then how are you going to communicate with an alien that's coming down? How are you going to know if it has intelligent life? How are you going to know if it's dangerous? It's not someone where you want to have someone very emotional about hating aliens and in charge of it. I love Mac. Maybe not the best decision, And what should we do if an alien shows up here? Like, I don't know, man. How, like, we gotta just treat them the same as powered individuals, innocent until proven guilty, safe until proven dangerous. But that could create some problems. Like, in real life, I'm of the, I agree with the philosophy that, if aliens were to come to Earth, there is no logical scenario in which it would not end negatively for us. It would not even end neutrally for us. I've not seen any logical scenario that seems justifiable for why aliens would come here and it not be negative. Just by not even saying like they're coming here to attack us, but just by aliens visiting Earth not having negative outcome. That specifically. Not that they want to attack us or anything. I'm not saying that, but just that their arrival would only have negative outcome. Either way, let's move on. So, we talked about the Tahitian before. And I'm kind of just talking about Coulson right now and all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. We talked about Tahitian criminals when we talked about it with Ward. Is it the right thing to do? If they're a high-level ass criminal, like Ward, like Cal, then sure. But the thing is, like, then you get into, like, are people inherently bad? Like, did they implant good memories in Cal, or did they implant just, like, it's the whole thing with the S.H.I.E.L.D. guy who had sort of, like, that knowledge, still in him a bit. So I guess S.H.I.E.L.D. is implying that, you can be born evil, or you can be born good. Or at least, like, to a certain point. When you're Tahiti'd, there's certain... Once you reach adulthood, there's certain innate things about you that cannot be changed. I guess is a better way to put it, rather than from birth. That, there's certain things about you that you cannot change. I mean, it goes into the whole, every character has a defining moment in S.H.I.E.L.D. They all have this big thing that defines them as a character. Um, but yeah, so if we're saying that, then I guess it's not usable. Using an award would have been a really bad thing then. Like, I wasn't, back then I was assuming that they would change his memories, make him nice, but that doesn't seem to be possible. He is the, oh no, I'm such a good guy. So maybe that's what they were going for, but, bad idea. Bad idea if we were to Tahiti Ward. Real awful idea. But, yeah, it makes sense for Cal then. Makes sense for Cal. I mean, in terms of why they would do it for that kind of criminal, not in terms of doing it to Cal. Because Cal doesn't want this. He would rather be in jail with the memory of his daughter. I don't agree with this because there's no way he's happy with this. It's good that he's out there doing good again and helping people, but you're taking away the one thing he loves in life is his family. But you know what? Maybe it's like without them he would have been a better person. Like, I definitely think without Jiang, but without Daisy? Really? Really? It sucks because now he can't even have those visits or like... This is honestly one of the saddest ends he's gotten, I think. This is terrible. But... I don't know. Man. Oh, it sucks. It sucks, but it's... I don't know. I don't know if he... I can't say for certain whether he would have wanted this or not, because we don't know. We don't know. And speaking of Cal, what a amazing arc. What an amazing arc of a character. He's just a family man. He's just a good dude. Just a doctor. Saving lives. Being a goofy-ass goober. And then he meets Jiang. Gets involved with her ass. Slowly leads him down this dark, dark path. Using his own love for her against himself. He really got the shit in the stick. He has like the most tragic story of any of the characters, honestly. Like, he might not have had to... I don't know, though. Because you can say, like, oh, he didn't have to do some of that stuff. But you can say that about plenty of the characters, that they didn't have to do it. You could say Bobby didn't have to do it. You could say Romanoff didn't have to do it. It's still tragic, though. And Hyde, the whole monster form of him. Whoever did the special effects on that, the prosthetics, whoever was in charge of all of that, just the whole Kit Kat and Caboodle, really deserves 5 raises. Like, it was the perfect blend. It wasn't a ton of crappy prosthetics or like a ton of crappy effects or even like really good, amazing CGI that just like was all over it. It was just this perfect blend of practical, and it did seem like a little bit of visual, probably just like color changes or stuff. But oh my god, that was amazing. I felt like a really, like, it did feel like an old horror movie done now, but not with a ton of CGI. And I don't have anything against CGI. I'm actually, somebody who has nothing against CGI. I love great CGI. Awful CGI, meh. But I'm also someone who has a pretty high standard for shitty CGI. So, yeah. I'm very, very excited to eventually watch Twin Peaks, knowing that Kyle MacLachlan is in it, because Cal would not be nearly as memorable of a character if it wasn't for Kyle MacLachlan playing him. Like, he really, really makes this character who it is. His acting is tippity-toppity. And yeah, now that his arc is over, I can confidently say that Cal is sitting at my number 2 on my list of favorite characters in the MCU as a whole. That I've seen, obviously. But yeah, number 2 so far. Perfect character arc. Everything about it. So masterfully written. So emotional. Made me cry every single time. And I'll go over my updated top 10 at the end, by the way. So, now let's talk about the Inhumans. We have Jiang, the first true supervillain of the MCU. And I know what you're thinking. Donut, are you crazy? Jiang, the first true supervillain of the MCU. Yeah. Like, I can't think of anybody else who is more supervillain than her. Because we had the Red Skull. He comes pretty close. Red Skull comes pretty close. But he was just trying to take out the Allied forces. Jiayang is trying to take out the world, it seems. Now, she has the line of, like, only if they get in our way. But she was taking a hell of a lot of crystals, and it clearly seems like she wanted to bust them open, wipe out the human race, and just have the inhuman race left. And it fits perfectly with, like, Gordon would be totally fine with that. Gordon hates humans, seemingly. So yeah, I'd say she's the first real kind of super villain, you know, world destruction kind of thing. That's not an alien. Like, I'm not counting aliens. That's a whole different ball game. And even then, it's more like, I'm trying to remember why the fuck the Dark Elves came to Earth. Did they just want to fucking destroy it because? I actually don't remember. But, yeah, aside from, like, the alien politics that's going on, like, obviously shit like Ronin or, you know, just crazy aliens that we don't even really know about yet. I'm sure that shit's been happening like mad. But, in terms of, you know, on Earth, this is the first true-ass supervillain in the MCU. For sure. And, yeah, she really got what was coming to her, getting the hug of death. Her own child almost killed her. And I said this cow opened up her wounds, but it was actually S.H.I.E.L.D. that opened up her wounds with the tremoring, the vibrations. Which I do like they were calling her powers tremors, it does seem. Because I like that word better than vibrations. Even if vibrations is more technically correct, tremors sounds cooler. And yeah, Jiayang was a perfect villain for the series too. You know, really encapsulating the feeling of every single character in S.H.I.E.L.D. Almost every single character in S.H.I.E.L.D. Just the manipulation, the lying, the secrets, the having this defining moment that changed them and they would never, you know, go back. The like intrigue and really trying to, like, you know, I mean, I guess that's manipulation, but you know, probing people for information and stuff. Like, I love that the villains in S.H.I.E.L.D. are way more brainy than they are brawny. Like, it's not this big battle of powers. The big villains are usually the ones that are behind the scenes, sort of just ordering other people around. Because it fits very well as an antagonist for a group like S.H.I.E.L.D. So then we have her right-hand man, Gordon. Was he actually bludgeoned to death there? I didn't see him being, like, arrested or anything at the end, so I'm pretty sure he was just fucking bludgeoned to death. And that was a cool, like, yeah, just seeing them all overhead, just going, coming down. That was amazing. And yeah, fuck him. If he's dead, I don't care. Power tripping lunatic. Power tripping lunatic. I don't care at all. He's insane. You know, as much shit he was giving Cal, because, I mean, it didn't seem like he was giving Cal shit because of what he did in terms of the chemicals, but just because he was a human that wanted to live among them, so he tried to be like them, and Gordon was like, fuck you. But yeah, I thought I was really gonna like his character as this, like, heroic guy that was, like, you know, would teleport in to save the day sometimes and stuff. Like, I expected the Inhumans to be, you know, more heroic. I mean, they are going to be now, I think. But, yeah, now I was just, at the end, I was just excited to see Mac drive an axe through his fucking skin blindfold looking ass. And Reyna, very surprised we didn't bring her up at the end again. But, I do assume that she's dead. We did not see the head on a spike, but I'm going to say that she is dead. I don't know where else they would take her character. She's kind of already gone through her whole arc, right? She starts out poor, alone in the streets with nothing. People take pity on her, they help her out, they give her bread, they give her the clothes and all that. She manipulates them for more and more. Cal finds her, he takes pity on her, he helps her obtain what she's looking for, the transformation. Hydra comes, Reyna manipulates Cal and just getting, she manipulates Cal with info on Sky and all that. Hydra comes after her because of the obelisk and everything. Cal now wants nothing to do with her. She's back to being alone, poor, nothing. She goes to the transformation, comes out worse, back to having nothing, poor, alone. Jiayang Jiang takes pity on her, she manipulates them for more and more, wanting to leave the building and all that, talking to people, just wanting more and more, wanting power here. Then she actually learns to embrace her transformation, her precognition and everything. She learns to actually accept it and accept who she is and accept what she has. She accepts not wanting more. And then she is killed. There's no one left to trust her. No one left to pity her. She's back to being alone and having nothing. It's a great arc. I really, really like Reina's arc. I give her a lot of shit and I yell at her all the time, but the same way that I do Ward, just because I'm like yelling at a character or calling them an awful person, you know, that is the sign of a fantastic character. Now, speaking of the opposite, Lincoln. I'm joking. But you know, I was not expecting to like Lincoln at all. There's nothing about him that interested me originally. And even now, you know, he's... I can confidently say that his role in this show is enjoyable. And the only way I can say it is that robotic. That his role in the show is enjoyable. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't really care about him. I like his line of, like, you know, oh, we're not bad, we're just misled. Like, that's really dope. I love that line. And just him, like, you know, being able to think for himself and coming to the conclusion that the Inhumans were wrong, or Jiang was leading them in the wrong direction, I should say. That, I like that. But, just as his personality in general, meh. I don't dislike it, just couldn't care. Couldn't care. Same with the redhead. I hope she gets more speaking lines, because her power's really cool. She's got some really cool fights. But it doesn't really have to do with her as a person. It's just more that she has cool powers. So I hope that Lincoln and Redhead actually get some more real development there in the next season. Which is a long way away. So, Bobby and Hunter. Let's talk about that. Bobby jumping in front of the bullet for Hunter. I really wonder how she feels about everything. Like, herself, her life, her job, her relationship, all of it after this. And I guess, I don't mean just the bullet, but just this whole scenario here. It definitely stirred her enough to want to leave S.H.I.E.L.D., assumingly with Hunter. I don't know if Hunter's actually going to go with her or not. But, I think he shouldn't. He's getting really wrapped up with the wrong girl, but at the same time, if she's leaving S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe things can be better. Because she is very emotionally distant and very, she's not emotionally forthcoming. So, if she can change that, then that's good, and they can work well together, and I would love to see them in a relationship outside of S.H.I.E.L.D. together. But if she can't, and she's just going to continue to be this emotionally uninvested, then I don't know if that's a good idea. Because even at the end of all this, you know, she's still saying that this doesn't affect her in any way. And I'm not trying to say that she needed to be taught this lesson that Ward was trying to teach her or anything like that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not condoning anything that he did. I am just saying that it is curious that it didn't affect her in any way. So, what I know about Romanoff at this point, in terms of, like, horrible shit that she's done, she's had to kill a KGB, she's had to kill an innocent man to graduate into the KGB, or a spy for them or something. And what we know about Bobby at this point in time is that she turned an innocent woman over to Hydra, which would lead to torture and brainwashing. Which, in my book, is kind of worse. Like, it's arguably worse. You know, that one was an actual death, but I think torture and brainwashing is worse, because the torture is horrible in and of itself, but then she's doing all these evil acts that she has no control over. And that seems to be, like, a lot of, like, the brainwashing just ruined her. She was never able to be the same again, and then she had to get killed by Ward here because there's nothing else that really could happen to her. She was just ruined. She was compromised. And so it's surprising that it doesn't affect Bobby in any way, because it affects Romanoff plenty. It's a lot of her entire character. And Bobby just kind of shrugs it off and says she'd do it again. It's all for the greater good. And, you know, our lizard brain, I don't think, would accept that. I think our lizard brain in here is always going to justify a do-or-die situation like Romanoff's more than it would oh, well, I did it for the greater good. Even if I gave up that life, I was saving more lives. As we can see with May, you know, our lizard brain does not want to accept that as a thing. I mean, May's was more of a do-or-die herself situation, too, to be fair. But, yeah, when it's do or die, your lizard brain normally is a little bit more forgiving. So it's interesting that Romanoff beats herself up about this so much, but Bobby does not. And Hunter starting out as this merc, doing it for money, just doing it for the laughs, I guess. I don't know if I would say for the laughs, but, you know, I wouldn't say he was doing it for a good cause. He was a good man, but I wouldn't say that his merc duties were doing it for a good cause. He was just following someone who was doing it for the right cause, I would say, more likely. And yeah, he was always saying, you know, fuck the orders, following his own morals. He's doing what he thinks is right, not whatever everybody else wants him to do. And then Bobby comes along. She starts fucking with him. He starts to, you know, be like, maybe this can work out again. I'm going to stick with S.H.I.E.L.D. for the long run. Everything goes down, like, you know, the world sort of collapses in on him. Everybody is backstabbing him like crazy. But he doesn't flee S.H.I.E.L.D. He confronts his problems. He doesn't run away. He actually confronts them head on, face to face. He gets wrapped up in the new S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff on this boat. He's like, screw it, this is not my fate. I'm getting the hell out of here. Goes back, works with Coulson, again, following his own morals and not with S.H.I.E.L.D. Because that's kind of what we've been talking about with Fitz and with Hunter. They both do not really follow S.H.I.E.L.D. They follow Coulson. They do not follow S.H.I.E.L.D. And yeah, then now his ex is taking a bullet for him, almost dying because of revenge for actions that she was taught were justified by S.H.I.E.L.D. And now, was what she did justified? Maybe, maybe not. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this from Hunter's perspective. It's very similar to what Lincoln said with, we're not bad, we're just misled. It fits both sides easily. And, oh man, Skye was a force to be reckoned with this episode. And just in general, she is a force to be reckoned with from now on. Like, even without her powers, she's a force to be reckoned with. But with them both is terrifying. The fact that she can make guns useless is amazing. Perfect. That is wonderful. Honestly, the best use of her power. And again, I do hope that she doesn't use it on people very much. I talked about it right before she attacked May, but that was heat of the emotions. I hope that going forward, she tries not to use it on people. Even if she's not really hurting them, it's still, you know, use it on the guns, use it on stuff like that, and then just use your actual talents on the people, because all you have to do is disarm them, and then they can't really hurt you. Yeah. So, Fitz and Simmons, even if all this didn't go down the way it did, like at the very, very end, I don't know if they should be dating. Again, it's very similar to Hunter and Bobby, but maybe if Simmons can be more emotionally available, then sure. But if she's going to run away the moment she gets sad, if she's going to cry and then run, then no, you can't do this. And, like, she was really working up a lot of emotion to talk to Fitz at all there, but the fact that she did, like, sort of immediately break down in panic after she tried to talk to him about it is kind of proof that maybe she hasn't changed that much, and maybe if things got tough, she would just run again. I would hope not, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say, and now we might never know. But let's talk about Fitz for a bit. We talk about all the other characters. I'm kind of not talking a lot about Skye this discussion, by the way, just because, like, I talk about Skye so much in all the discussions that I wanted to really focus this discussion on everybody else. I feel like there's not much I have to really add on Skye that I haven't discussed a billion times in all the episodes, and I love her to bits. I love her to death. But, man, we kind of discussed all that already. So, Fitz starts out as this nervous kid, afraid of the field, afraid of getting his hands dirty. Coulson gets kidnapped by Centipede, and that's really the big point, I think, where he starts to change a bit. And as always with Fitz, it's very minor of changes. He becomes a little more serious, he becomes more comfortable, becomes more confident in himself, but in terms he becomes a lot more, and he's going out in the field and everything too. But every time he does that, he becomes very cold to most other people too, to everybody who's not very emotionally invested in this. And he's done that throughout the whole series. Every time something bad happens, he gets very emotionally invested into it. He changes a bit, but he ultimately still has this attitude of being super cold and rude towards people who are not, over the top invested in it like he is. And it's good that we had Mac be his friend for a while there because of that, because after the brain damage and everything, and going into the coldness again, Mac was able to warm him out of that and really appeal to that emotional side of him, as opposed to everybody else who's very logical because they're a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. But Mac is pretty emotional for a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. And yeah, I like that, Fitz doesn't really go through big changes. His character is centered around the fact that his emotions dictate his decisions, and that, big things happen around him, but ultimately he won't let it change him at his core. Again, minor things about him change. He grows more mature over time, but ultimately I do like that his development is not changing in a big way. It is, being like, no, I'm not going to look at this logically. I don't want to look at this logically, because looking at it logically leads to bad things. I can see where he's coming from with saying, things like that. Simmons starts out as more like an older sister type for Fitz than anything, really. Like, I've always got the interpretation that she has been not way smarter, not way smarter, but smarter than Fitz. More intelligent than Fitz. At the very least, she can hold herself better, she can talk better, she's better at being with other people and everything. And yeah, I really like that aspect about her. She has always been way more mature, always been the adult of the group, even if at times she can be a little childish. But yeah, I don't have anything specific I want to say about her, She's a genius. She's a badass. She's self-sacrificial. She's always calm in the face of danger. But, I don't really have anything specific, to talk about with Simmons that I haven't already discussed previously. If I am missing stuff, please, leave me comments. It's hard to do these discussions because I spend hours writing these notes. Honestly, I do. And then I'm going to miss stuff just because of how long I spend on certain things. I'm giving up that time on other things. But yeah, the relationship with her and Fitz. It would assuming let's pretend she gets out of this fine, and they do go on a date after all is said and done. Even if Simmons is emotionally available, is this a good relationship? Can she see him in that light? Or is she just, thinking she is? Again, is this just her, this could just be a heightened senses sort of thing. The danger around them, and that's getting to her, making her think that it's love when it's not. I don't know. I just don't want her to... I don't want her to make Fitz worse again. And so, then the thing at the end happens. Eat metal rock! That's crazy. That's a nightmare's nightmare. I really hope this thing just teleports her somewhere. But I have a feeling the date talk was a big red flag, and she is never getting out of this. I think Simmons is dead skis. I can see it being the big tragic thing in season 3. And also, where's Gravity Boy? Where's Gravity Boy? Is he also going to be popping up in season 3? Quinn and Gravity Boy somewhere out there in the world. But overall, I just loved getting to see everybody working together in very unique pairings, whether it be among S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Inhumans and S.H.I.E.L.D. working together. All of it was fantastic. Especially just whenever it was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and an Inhuman, because that's just really bridging the gap there. And muy perfecto. We had, Simmons trying to heal Jiang, Sky working with the Inhumans and fighting S.H.I.E.L.D. and May, Fitz and Hunter working together to track Bobby, May and Hunter working together to get Bobby back, Simmons and Coulson working together to figure out what was up with Cal and if he was dangerous, Fitzsimmons versus Hyde, Coulson working together with Cal and Cal working with S.H.I.E.L.D., Sky and Mac working together to send, Sky and Mac working together to send the S.O.S, and plenty more. Those are the ones that I quickly wrote down, but plenty more too. There's so many, and it was amazing. Mac versus Gordon was just, the whole fight was amazing with everybody too, but specifically Mac versus Gordon was sick as hell. All the fights this episode were incredible just because of the small scale of it as opposed to like the movies where they're fighting armies and stuff. Incredible fights. Incredible fights. So then we're introduced to this new program. Caterpillars is what it's called. Seems like Centipede. It's got this big skeletal thing on it with like a rib cage too, very Centipede-esque. The rest of it just seems to be planes and stuff. I guess it'll be more something better than a Quinjet, which is going to be interesting because I think Quinjet might be the word that has been said the most across all of the MCU. Seriously, I can aside from like the or of a specific in-universe term. I think Quinjet has been used more than any other single pronoun in all of S.H.I.E.L.D. Or proper noun, I mean. But yeah. So, what is Caterpillars? It's a powered individuals team? an Inhumans team. At first I thought a powered individuals team, but it does seem like it's an Inhumans team specifically. Because I was wondering why, why do they need to stay anonymous? Why is this supposed to be a secret? Why the fuck are we doing this other than just we can't bring it up in the movies? And I think it's because they're specifically Inhumans. If it was powered individuals, I don't really see any reason as to why the fuck it would need to be kept secret in any way. But, if Alien 51 has aliens, would it be cool to know? Sure. Do I actually want to know? No. No, I don't. I don't want to know. I don't want to know if there's been aliens here. That's going to terrify me for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. If there was just, somebody out there who had powers through some sort of accident, or they were psychic, or, something like that, would I want to know? Hell yeah. Yeah, I would want to know. Would it be cool? Yeah. And would I want to? Yeah. Both of them. Aliens, would it be cool? Yeah. Would I want to? No. No, 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 no. So, I get it. I get it. Keep the Inhumans secret. Nobody needs to know about alien humans walking among us like fucking skinwalkers. Nah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't need that. Don't need that. Yeah. Also, the fact that Mike isn't on the program and Mike is an agent does probably mean that it's not a powered individuals team. Like that definitely gives credence towards that. So Andrew is evaluating them, which is good because he doesn't have any foot in the S.H.I.E.L.D. race. He's impartial, so that is excellent of a person to have. And yeah, just as I've been saying in general, with Andrew being here, hopefully they'll be fixing the index as well, in terms of the other people on it that are like Carla or Angar or Noche or the other guy, I can't remember his name, the smart genius techie guy. But yeah, if we can fix a lot of that, then yes. And if we can have someone here who actually understands when somebody is dangerous, I keep thinking back to him coming here for the first time and Simmons being like, oh, should we put her down with these drugs? Or, May being like, what did May say to him? Something about her being dangerous or whatever. And he's like, I don't think I'll be the judge of that. Yeah. He's like, you guys are crazy. You're always just like, oh, they have powers. They're dangerous. You're no better than Hydra with Project Insight. Project Insight was for both of them either way, but specifically the threat to... no, because Project Insight was a threat to S.H.I.E.L.D. to first anyway. It wasn't even... Either way. It's terrible. So I'm glad we have Andrew here, who is completely impartial to do these evaluations on whether they are dangerous or not. So, yes. very happy. Honestly, I'm just so fucking happy that this show is addressing every little thing that I have found insane about how S.H.I.E.L.D. is run. I've got everything I complain about, S.H.I.E.L.D. as an organization, they are actively fixing. With the way that so many people comment on my reactions, I've just been assuming that this is a me problem and the show is never going to really like fix them or address them or anything, but that's not the case. I'm very happy that the show is just addressing and fixing all the problems that I do have. Yeah, now Ward is the leader of Hydra. That happened. He's the leader of Hydra! As I said, all the heads are gone. How do you reform at that point? It's just a little amount of people left, I imagine. And Ward's finding them. He's getting them. He's going out for some serious, no icers revenge. He ain't that good boy anymore. He is coming for them with blood. The real Ward is coming out. I do like that he is dropping his pretense of being a good guy now. He's like, fuck it. It's all over. I've been broken and beaten and I'm back for revenge, baby. I assume he's going to go specifically for Bobby again. Especially if she's not going to be in S.H.I.E.L.D. It's going to be a lot easier, too. And how many times can they get me with these fucking Namor teases? Like, to be fair, I doubt pouring the Steve Rogers blood in the sea was a Submariner reference. But, at the same time, that season of Carter was a pretty loose adaptation of the first arc of Submariner history, which is also the first arc of Marvel history, technically. I mean, more or less. Ran alongside the Human Torch, so technically and non-technically. But yeah, by the way, I'm going to be doing videos on the comics too, because like nobody ever really talks about the Golden Age comics, and I find the Golden Age comics very fascinating. So I'm going to be doing some videos talking about Golden Age comics. Look forward to that in the future. The very first one will be for the very first event in Marvel history, and seemingly the very first event in comic book history, Human Torch versus Submariner. It is technically not an event, because it doesn't actually span across multiple different books and all that sort of thing, but it is only by technicality just because of the way that the Golden Age worked, where all the, different stories were being run in one book. So it's more of a technicality for it not being an event. I'm classifying it as an event, and we will be going over it, as well as plenty of other shit like Khazar the Great and Lecture of the Iron Man, and plenty of other fantastic Golden Age comics and Golden Age heroes that I love. But yeah, so I will see you guys for some of this comic stuff. Look forward to that. In the meantime, if you are not, if you are waiting on S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long ass time, try and get into some of the other stuff I do on the channel. Seriously, try and get into some of the other stuff, the other shows I do outside of the MCU. Try and get into more of the MCU stuff, because it's good, guys. It's good. Or check out the comic stuff I'm doing. Read some more comics along with me. Read some Golden Age comics. Join the Discord. Talk about, anything. We have lengthy discussions on the Discord. There's also a guy there who's watching S.H.I.E.L.D. along with me for the first time, and he probably will also do a huge break like I am. So if you're interested in someone who is also going along with the MCU as a whole in the same way I am, then join the Discord, because that's happening too. So yeah, I will see you guys for Season 3. It's a long way away, I understand, but hold out hope. We'll get there. Till then, get the fuck out of here.